he was still a good president because he was able to, stand up for the abolitionists and actually fight for the Union and preserve the country.
But what he did then was not okay.
But I do think it does put a bit of a tarnish on his reputation because it shows that he really didn't take the Constitution that seriously.
Okay. Well, I agree. Even if it's for a good cause, that's subjective.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Well, if we're going to so if we're going objectively a little sketchy, we're going further back to John Adams.
Oh God.
And his Alien Sedition Act. John Adams. I haven't heard. Sorry.
Yeah.
So people were criticizing him, and he already knew he was unpopular. And he and Mr. Hamilton wrote the Alien Sedition Act along with the friggin'. Why am I forgetting the party name? This is how you know.
Gosh,
I'm sorry.
If you keep going like this, you're gonna get a 4 on the A-push test.
I am getting a good score on that test.
Yes, you are.
Except I forgot. The Federalist, yeah. Obviously, I was testing you. Gosh, freedom of speech. I could pretend, however. Sorry. Anyways, so people started criticizing him, and he knew he was gonna get kicked out of the government. So he started. He among other things, the Alien Sedition Act was like, you can't criticize the government. Was it if you were an immigrant, or was it no matter what?
I think it was no matter what.
No matter what. Okay.
It was and that basically ruined his political career, completely.
Right.
So I think that definitely put a tarnish on his.
We're in agreement that was a bad thing.
Yes, that was a bad thing that he did.
Could you do you think that makes him a bad person though, or just scared?
I think honestly,
obviously that was wrong.
Given that much power, I think people are gonna do things that protect their own interest.
Okay. So then back to what we were asking before, because our first caller was the general people should decide what that means, but then the second caller said it should be the government.
It should be the government.
So
which is I would say that that's pretty what we already do.
Right, but who do you think?
What type of democracy do we have?
Technically we're not. Technically we're a democratic republic.
Yeah,
that's among.
We're a republic. We're like a Republican democracy or something. A democratic republic.
That's what I said.
That's what we are.
We're
so
not
that's technically what we do already.
But do you think the first caller had a point? Because we just brought up 2 examples where the freedom of speech was actually being limited by the government, who's supposed to protect it.
Yeah, and if all 3 branches of government are trying to restrict something, then technically there's nothing to stop them.
But in both those cases, it was the executive.
It was.
In fact, in the other case I'm about to bring up, it's also the executive branch. So
do you think that it's because the executive branch is... Before I say this, obviously I know...
Oh my gosh, I'm getting a call from another person.
Another caller?
Hold up. Hello.
What is up?
Are you free at the moment?
I'm at work right now, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Okay, well, me and my friend Lila were starting a podcast, and we had to call to ask your opinion about something.
Oh.
It'll be quick.
I have enough time to answer your question.
Okay, Okay. So, our first episode is on the freedom of speech, and if we think it should be absolute. If not, how much should it be limited, and or who decides that?
I think...
What do you think?
I think I agree with you that freedom of speech should be absolute. The government can't control what people are saying, but people are still, subject to the repercussions of, what they're saying. Right. You know what I mean?
So, do you think it should be absolute?
Yeah, I think so.
No matter what. No matter what, people should be able to say what they want to say.
Well, I don't, condone people going out and, saying whatever they want, but I don't think that the government should limit what people are saying. You know what I mean?
Okay. Right, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does that...
I think, freedom of speech as, an amendment to the Constitution has, limits when I think it's, hate speech and, terrorism, which is, limited, which makes sense. If you're gonna say, I'm gonna go bomb the White House, then,
right.
That makes sense. The government would be like, hey, maybe don't say that. But,
right.
Otherwise, I think it should be absolute.
Does that include, rallying people with your words. Like, if I went up to a group of people and was like, down with the government, and they actually agreed with me, should I get arrested for saying that and leading to, like, a riot?
No. I don't think so. Because it's like freedom of assembly or whatever.
That's, you know what?
That is different than what other people have said.
You are actually the first person to say it should be absolute no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, I think like, freedom of speech doesn't inherently lead to, like, violence or whatever. I think, like, obviously, like, if you say whatever you want and because of what you're saying it leads to something else happening, you can get in trouble for what your words lead to. But I don't think you should be in trouble for, like, expressing your words. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
If someone were to rally, like, let's take down the government, right? And it starts a riot, and the riot, like, burns down 4 buildings. I think you could get in trouble for starting a riot that burned down 4 buildings.
But not for saying,
hey, let's take down the government. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Thank you for this input.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, of course.
You are the best.
Send me y'all's podcast episode when you're
done.
We
will. I you know, just make sure you take everything we say in context.
Yeah.
This is just a social experiment at this point. How many people are gonna take what we say out of context?
Yeah, and how much hate are we gonna get?
Yeah, I'll clip y'all and, like, post y'all on Twitter and be like, they need to be canceled.
Cooked. I appreciate this.
Yes, thank
course.
you.
Okay, I gotta go back to work.
Okay,
bye. Love you.
Bye, love you.
Okay, that was a surprise segment change.
Yo, I like how my ringtone is, like, completely different per person. But, okay, so we just got absolute no matter what.
So what do we think about that?
You know, I kind of agree with her. Because that was what I was saying earlier before I took back what I said. Because, like, you can argue people have free will. Like,
yeah, you can argue that people have free will.
And, like...
And I also like the idea of, like, yeah, they're getting charged with, like, starting a riot, not, like, actually saying down the government.
And she also agreed
but you could also argue that those words started the riot. So technically it's the same thing.
But also, I think, you know what, though? Like, but it's not... Because, like, if you lead that riot... If you're like, down with the government, and they start a riot, and you're like, never mind.
Yeah.
But, then if you go on and you're like, yeah, then you lead them, that's different.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the outcome, but that person, there's no way to control that outcome. So should they even be persecuted?
I guess not. Because there's...
Hot take, I'm going to say no.
You don't think they should be persecuted?
No.
I kind of agree. Like, in the end... You can't,
like extremely hot take that I may regret saying later.
Do we change our minds?
I think we just had our minds changed. I think we both talked each other into having our minds changed.
So absolute freedom of speech.
Yes,
because also, like, our teacher brought up earlier, she was like, I hear stuff all the time. And you're going to deal with the consequences, but, like, for saying that, the law cannot be, like...
Yeah, and also, like, obviously... No terroristic threats. I think threats and free speech is different.
Because a threat comes with intent, whereas speech is a general...
It's just saying something.
Like, I guess it's like... Like, if I threaten someone, like, I am going to murk you today. Then, like, you never get arrested.
We are gonna get clipped on Twitter.
But if I do that, if you notice in court, they always say for, like... do you get arrested in court for threatening someone?
Yes.
People get arrested for that?
Yes, it's called, like,
Is that... Because that's different from, like, attempted murder.
No, let me look up what it is called.
But, like, that's different, I guess, than just saying...
What is... Threatening...
And can you...
Someone...
Obviously, if you get...
Law.
Because if you threaten someone,
then
that's different. Honestly, though, you could argue that they should still...
It's called threat intimidation, according to the FBI.gov.
But then you could also argue that by letting them say that, and they said it, you could have just prevented a murder by letting them be able to express their opinion.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you could arrest them under the guise that they were going to hurt someone, but not that they actually said they were going to.
Yeah, so it's not...
Plus, if like, I bring back to the kindergartner example...
What if it actually leads to a murder?
But then that's still not... Like, if I bring back the kindergartner example, and they're like, I'm going to hurt you, they're like a little kindergartner. Like, that's... Them saying that is not a problem. And, like, go back to someone our age, for example. If they go up to, like, a super strong athletic person, if I went up to, like, a giant bodybuilder and I was like, I'm gonna beat you up, my words carry no weight because, like, what am I actually gonna do? Like, if I actually attack them, that's different. But me saying that... I actually
disagree with
You disagree with that?
Yes. Because I think just the words itself, like, mean something. Like, it doesn't matter who it's coming from. The words you're speaking does mean something. And even if it comes from a kindergartner, I do think that person should be held accountable.
But is that under the freedom of speech? Or is that if they can actually, like, do
Is that a
about
restriction on freedom of speech?
Because
I think it's a restriction on threats.
Okay.
I do think it's different.
Okay, but do you think they should still be allowed to say those threats? Because I can argue that by letting someone say by letting someone express their intent, you can stop something before it happens because you know it's going to happen.
Oh gosh, that's a good point.
And also, I can say there's differences in, like, murder, for example. If it's, like, in the heat of the moment versus planned. If I in the heat of the moment threaten someone, but I actually wasn't going to do it, then that's different than if I actually was going to. I think you should be allowed to say it. Because then, you can prevent the consequence. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
I
do fully
Do I
understand
think
that.
threatening people is good? No.
No.
Do I think you should be allowed to say it? Honestly, yes.
Okay.
Because, like, I think that can actually prevent. I think freedom of speech can prevent other crimes.
Okay. I think that, yeah. Okay, we'll let that simmer. Okay, I think this concludes our episode.
Oh my gosh, who else is caught? Oh, it's my mom!
Okay, now this really
Okay, I love
episode.
my mom, I promise.
Okay.
Who is blowing the leaves?
I think that may or may not be my dad.
Yo!
That's... He's literally...
Oh my god, the pig! Okay, take 3. Do this quick before he comes back. Okay.
Oh my gosh, he's coming back. Okay. This concludes our episode. We're just going to very quickly wrap up our opinions at the beginning of the episode and our opinions at the end of the episode. Right.
At the beginning,
we kind of believed in a little bit of limitation. But now I think
honestly,
we're leaning towards
just
absolute freedom of speech.
Because, like, the government can decide that, and if they're like, well, that wasn't a good thing to say, and let's just say they're, like, I think, the whole thing under reasonable circumstances is too subjective for me. I do think so, too, because the law has to be kind of more objective, I guess. Because in this case, and like I said earlier, if threatening counts, then I think knowing that you're allowed to threaten someone and hearing that can actually save someone, so I think we went from some limitations to not. Let's just... freedom of speech.
And, like, again, like, we didn't really talk about the topic of slurs.
Right.
But, I mean, no one's getting really persecuted for saying anything.
Do I think it's a good thing? No.
No, absolutely not. It is not a good thing.
But the legal right.
However,
if you take away
there is no legal ramifications besides, like, getting fired from your job.
Right, but the law cannot.
So we can connect it back to what our second caller said.
Right.
Because she said the natural consequences. Right. So I think that's what me and Arden are thinking. And
if you, again, people should not say slurs, but if you take away that as hate speech, you can keep going until maybe you're just voicing a negative opinion at that point.
Yeah.
I think so. All right. Well,
okay.
Thank you all for listening to our over half an hour of 2 random high schoolers rambling.
Yes.
About the freedom of speech.
Subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating if you're listening to this on Spotify.
Please.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify.
And please don't cyberbully.
Yeah, please do not take anything we say out of context.
If you're going to, can you write a really long paragraph for the algorithm? If you're gonna hate, if you're gonna be hate,
if you're gonna hate, give us a thumbs up.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.